All right, blessings and shalom to you. So good to see you all today on this beautiful Shabbat morning. We are so grateful to the Most High for another opportunity to share the word of Yah. We're excited about this opportunity, you guys. So see, see, do me a favor and hold on. Sorry about that. Um, Just wanted to make sure we have all our systems working properly, and they are. And so we're going to jump right into it, guys. Do me a favor really quick. Go ahead and thumb up the video and share the live. Thumb up the video and share the live, if you will. And we're going to get started in just 1 second. Just a second here. We are just taking care of some last minute things here. Thumb up the video, share the live, guys. Also, go ahead and grab your Bibles. Go ahead and grab your paper. You know what to do to make sure you are in the house completely, guys. I do want to share that there are individuals that are asking, "Do we want to come to your building? We want to come to your building. We want to come to church, guys." We are praying about that. We're praying. We were in a building in Alameda, but we moved to Patterson, which is about an hour and a half away. And so we are in the process of praying that the Most High will bless us with another place, guys. So be in prayer with us as we endeavor to make this ministry completely, officially public. And so that we can interact with each other. I do pray that it will, it will happen. I believe. We just got to wait for it. And Abiyah has his own timing. And so we're just going to wait and watch the Most High do what he does. All right. So, guys, go ahead and thumb up the video and share the live, if you will. I would greatly appreciate it. Thumb up the video, share the live. And we're going to get started. We're going to get started. Go ahead and turn with me to the book of Thessalonians. Thessalonians chapter 2. Second Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians chapter 2. And we're going to jump right in, guys. I do apologize for not holding Bible study on Tuesday night, guys, but I promise you the Most High will help us to make up for that. And we're going to jump right in. Second Thessalonians chapter 2. Also, this is the third week. This is the third week of counting the Omer. And so we have 4 more weeks to count until Pentecost or Shavuot. All right. Pentecost is the Latin way of saying Shavuot or 50th. And so we are looking forward to Shavuot and celebrating the giving of the Torah and the giving of the Ruach Kodesh, which is a fulfillment of Ezekiel 36 and 27, which we will make reference to today. The Most High promised that he would give the Ruach Kodesh or the Holy Spirit in order for the purpose of keeping Torah. And so it's amazing to hear the deception that's happening and that is being taught today, and people are falling for it, guys, because the scriptures are very clear. They're not always simple. They are, but they're not always. Sometimes you're gonna have to dig in and study and research, study to show yourselves approved unto the Most High. And so that's going to take work. It's going to take time. And so we look forward to the study of the word of Yah. All right. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so let's jump in. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, and we're going to look at verse 7, guys. This has been our foundation passage. For those of you who are coming in, blessings and shalom, Shabbat shalom. Thumb up the video, share the live, guys. Go ahead and grab your paper. Go ahead and grab your pens, your notepads. Go ahead and grab your Bibles, of course. because we're going to be all in the Bible. The Bible today is going to be all in your face today. And so go ahead and grab the sword, and we're going to chop some spiritual heads off today, guys. And so we look forward to sharing in the word. Make sure you thumb up the video, share the live, and we're going to jump right in. And we're going to pick up where we left off. And I'm excited about today's lesson. So I hope you're excited as well. I hope you're ready to study. Let's go. Let's get it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7 says this, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. So Paul is saying here that this secretive rebellion against, now remember this word iniquity is anomia. And remember this, anomia is not just sinning. That's harmartia, okay, in the Greek. Anomia simply means you are without law. You are antithetical. You are against. You have a gripe. You have an issue with the Torah. And so he says this mystery, this secretive rebellion. The reason why we say rebellion is because that word iniquity in the Greek is anomia, which is, again, a is negating something. It's just like if someone were to say asexual or atypical, it is meaning the opposite of something or being against something. And so what this is saying is that there is a mystery of iniquity. In other words, there is a secretive rebellion against Torah. All right. And so if Paul says this secret rebellion against the Torah in 51 AD, somewhere around 51 AD, when Paul wrote 2 Thessalonians, he says it's already at work. Paul says, I'm noticing as I've been living on this earth, I've noticed that there is a secret rebellion against the Torah that's happening already. It's already at work. Now, if Paul is saying it's already at work, that means that it has been at work before Paul noticed it. As a matter of fact, Paul was a part of this secret rebellion, okay, against Torah. If you read the book of Acts, chapter 8, where you see Paul persecuting the church. Actually, you start with chapter 6 through 8, actually 6 through 9. If you read chapter 6 through 9, it highlights Paul's antithetical position, his rebellious nature against the Torah, even though Paul agreed with some of the Torah, maybe most of the Torah. I think the scripture says that Paul was head and shoulders above all his contemporaries when it came to understanding Torah. And so even though he understood the words on the page, he misinterpreted and misapplied the Torah. And secretly, Paul was already in rebellion. It was, now we say secretly, guys. I want you to pay attention to this. Secretly doesn't mean that it was trying to be hidden so that no one could see it. No, that's not what the word mystery communicates, actually. The word mystery in the Hebrew and in the Greek, I do have, I stumbled across something and I want to share it with you guys. But in Greek and I'm going to do this real quick if it will allow me. I love technology and how we can use it, not be ran by it. But I came across this resource that I want to share with you guys. Let me see here. I can pull it up really quick. And yes. Oh, yes. So I'm going to pull it up on my computer. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love it. I love it. I just love this. Do you guys see what I'm pulling up right here? Now, I know this is not new. Many of you probably know about this, but it's new for me. And so when I came across this, do you guys see what this is? See if I can enlarge this. Let me see. Oh, yes. So it is kind of small. So on the right side, you have the English. This is called an interlinear. Okay. And so you have the English on the right and the Hebrew on the left. And so what I like about this, and again, this is the New Testament. This is the Brit Hadashah. Okay. So usually we think of the Hebrew text being the Old Testament. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're going to act up on me when I'm trying to show people stuff. Okay. So we go up here. This is the congregation Sar Shalom, a Messianic congregation, which is blessing the community with this awesome resource. So I just go to Bible real quick. And, it shows you all these resources. I'm going to drop this in the chat so you can have it. So we're going to go to Second Thessalonians right here, Second Thessalonians chapter 2. So you come up here in this, what is this, turquoise color. And you go to chapter 2, and voila, here you go. Wait, is that Second Thessalonians? Hold on. First Thessalonians. So let me go to first, or Second Thessalonians, sorry. Clicked on the wrong thing here. So Second Thessalonians. Huh, that's interesting that it keeps saying first. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see what's going on with that. All right, let me try this. Ah, you see what happened? They actually had it where Second Thessalonians is going to first, and first is going to second. So that's one glitch we just discovered together. However, this is a dope, awesome, excellent resource. So we come down here to verse 7. Wait a minute. Why isn't this showing me the right? Oh, God. All right, let's see something. This is just one example of this is interesting. Huh. This is super interesting, you guys. Well, what I wanted to show you was the Hebrew in the New Testament. I'm gonna have to figure this out. This is frustrating me. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't go to chapter 2. Okay. So human error all the way around. So here's verse 7. Here's verse 7 in the English. Okay. And this over here. Okay. And then here is verse 7 in the Greek. Okay. So we have the Greek, we have the English, and we have the Hebrew. Okay. So this is I love this, guys. So this word sowed in the Hebrew. Okay. I want you to look that up. I want you to look that word up. Sowed in the Hebrew. Let me get back to it really quick. 5, 6. Second. Okay. There you are. We're gonna get into the teaching, y'all. Just man, I'm super excited about what I just discovered. Not just discovered, but been studying with it for about maybe a month. So it is new. Man, had this been around when I first see, this is weird that it does that. Huh. All right. Thank you for bearing with me, y'all. We're gonna get this right here. Oh, I was in chapter 1, no wonder. Okay. So this word sowed, hopefully you can see it. This word sowed in the Hebrew, you guys. And I want you to look this up. I'm gonna put this in the chat along with um, the link to this resource so that you can have it and use it to study with. Um, there you go. Okay. So this word mystery, again, it doesn't mean secret or something that's um, hidden. It means to not fully reveal. It means to not fully reveal. And so when it says for the mystery of lawlessness, it means that this rebellion against the Torah hasn't been fully revealed yet. Come on and go with me here. But Paul is saying that it's already at work. It's already working. Okay. And so I want to really deal with this today. And so we're dealing with what is called orthodoxy. And again, the word orthodoxy simply means um, ortho means right, and doxy means teaching or worship. So orthodoxy means right teaching or right worship. Okay. Now, what's being called orthodoxy is not right teaching or right worship when it comes to what Yeshua taught. Yeshua's teachings are the standard for what is right teaching and right worship. Okay. And so we want to talk about patterns of deception, y'all. And I pray that you will really grasp what we're going to be sharing today, guys. This is super duper important. All right. So patterns of deception. There are patterns. So throughout human history, a subtle but powerful force has worked behind the scenes to distort the truth and to lead people away from Yah's divine Torah. Guys, that is the bottom line to what is happening now, what has been happening throughout human history, and even before human history, as we showed last week. If you read in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, Ezekiel, you'll see that these forces, these wicked forces, were long at work even before human history. Okay, and so this force does not always appear as blatant evil. No, because we would recognize it. We would recognize it up front, and it would be clear, and it wouldn't be deceptive. It doesn't always appear as blatant evil, but often it masquerades as truth. We're going to get into that. Counterfeits. hiding itself in religious language and forms of godliness that Peter talks about that lack true obedience to what? To the Torah. As its root, listen carefully, as its root lies a tricky deception that seeks to separate humanity, and is doing a pretty good job, from divine instructions of the Most High. And guys, that right here, this root, at the root of what we're saying and what we're teaching and what Beit, Emunat, Torah believe, the deception is that it seeks to separate humanity from divine instructions of the Creator. That is the essential goal of the deceiver. It is to deceive you in order to separate us from the divine instructions of the Most High, replacing those divine instructions. So it's not just to deceive us away from them, but it's to replace them with man-made traditions and permissive ideologies. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, is everything wrong? No, people want permissive ideology. They want permissive ideas. They don't want restriction. They don't want directions. They run red lights. They don't stop at stop signs. It is the nature of humanity to get by with as much wickedness. As a matter of fact, I heard a preacher, and I don't recommend listening to this particular individual, but I heard a preacher say, we're going to do everything short of sin. Guys, people want permissive ideologies. And in this case, people who don't know Torah or who are against Torah, they fully are in rebellion. However, this rebellion, again, it is a mystery, meaning that it is not fully revealed. This deception is not only ancient, but it's active. Come on and go with me here. Infiltrating even those who claim to follow the Messiah. Guys, this is the scary part. That it infiltrates those who claim they love Yeshua, that they claim they love the Lord. He heard my cry. Those that pray all the time. It's infiltrate this idea of permissiveness when it comes to the Torah. People do not want to stay within the boundaries of the Torah. They want to live their lives outside of the boundaries of the Torah. Don't tell me how to live my life. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to think. I'm going to think my own way. This is the way I think, and no one can tell me anything different, not even the Most High. And so instead of turning people away from him, Yeshua, because that would be completely obvious. If someone was trying to turn you away from Yeshua and saying, don't follow Yeshua, you'll be like, you know what, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to fall for that. So instead of what the deceiver does, instead of turning people away from Yeshua, this deception operates under his name. Come on, go with me here. Oh my goodness. False witness. Pseudo. It's kind of like some writings that are called pseudepigraphas. They were writing, as Paul says in Second Thessalonians. Let me show you real quick. In Second Thessalonians, Paul said in verse oh yes. Notice what Paul says in verse 2. That you be not soon shaken in mind or troubled, neither by spirit nor by word. Now here's the part, nor by letter. And then it says this, as from us. There were people putting Paul and other apostles' names on writings and passing them off as Paul's. Okay, so Paul says, wait a minute, I don't want you to be shaken by word or letters that come as though they're from us. In other words, if they're pseudo. And what were these letters saying? That the day of the Christ, that the Messiah has already taken place. In other words, the return of the Lord has already happened. That's why Paul says this. Look, notice what he says in verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things would happen? Okay, so Paul says you got to remember the teachings of truth that I told you, because if you are not familiar with the truth, then you will be deceived by a counterfeit. Okay? And so, let's get back to this. It operates under the name of Yeshua, while subtly encouraging disobedience to the very Torah that Yeshua upheld. This spiritual rebellion reveals a deeper mystery, one that has shaped the course of nations, misled countless souls, and results in a counterfeit faith that looks authentic. It looks real on the surface, but it is void of obedience to the Torah that reflects genuine love and obedience. Okay? Guys, uh-oh, hold on. Hold on. Pushing stuff. Okay. I want you guys to be able to see my entire screen here. All right, that's kind of small, but all right. Replacing, let me see, where did I leave off? Okay, replacing with human man-made tradition, permissive ideology, and self-exalting beliefs. Okay. And then this counterfeit faith that looks authentic on the surface, but it is void of obedience to the Torah that reflects genuine love and allegiance to Yeshua. Okay. Here is the point. Here's the point, guys. And so we got to understand that the goal of this mystery of lawlessness, this rebellion, this mystery of secretness, this sod, not fully revealed, not fully expressed. There is Yah is holding back people from fully, completely being in rebellion against Torah. Oh, you think it's bad now? It's going to get worse. There are people who do not read their Bible, who believe things are going to get better. Yeah, they think that they're going to get better. They're hopeful, they're positive, but they're not biblical. Come on, go with me here. And many people today in this world we live in would prefer things that are hopeful instead of biblical. You got to make a choice. Do you want to be hopeful or do you want to be biblical? Hopeful meaning that you believe things are going to get better because you don't know what the scriptures teach. Okay? What is going on with my... Oh my gosh. You guys see what's going on here? Wow. So, who was the first to sin and rebel against Yah's commands and usher in lawlessness? That is the question. Who was the first one to do that? And so we need to look at that. And so last week we talked about Isaiah 14 and 12 and Ezekiel 28, 12. The rebellion of the anointed cherub. He exalted himself above Yah. He corrupted wisdom and profaned the sanctuary, and he perverted the truth and introduced lawlessness. Okay. And so we know that this individual is none other than Hasatan. Okay. It is Satan himself. Okay. And so we need, oh boy, this is interesting stuff going on today. Okay. There we go. All right. Thumb up the video, guys. I do apologize. Thumb up the video, share the live if you are following along with me. All right. So let me make this a little bit smaller. Let's go fit. There we go. Okay, so he also perverted truth, introducing lawlessness. And if we read in Ezekiel 28:16, and then you compare that against Exodus 20:17. Let's do that really quick. Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28:16, and then Exodus 20:17. Ezekiel 28:16. And so we want to show this comparison of what the enemy is doing. Ezekiel 28:16 again. Read the entire chapter, the book of Ezekiel. Look at this. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of these with violence. This word violence is Hamas. Sound familiar? Now we know that Hamas is an acronym. If you look that up, Hamas is an acronym, but it's interesting that this word in Hebrew is Hamas. And thou hast sinned, therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. Now, what is Ezekiel talking about here when he's talking about who has sinned and who will be cast out of the mountain of the Most High? Okay, who is this? And where is the mountain of the Most High? So we talked about this last week. That, and then look, notice what he says here at the end. And I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Okay, so what Ezekiel is referring to is a time before humans were created on the earth, where a heavenly setting is taking place here, and in the mountain of the Most High, which is a heavenly setting, a throne of the Most High. And he says here, who sinned? This anointed cherub has. Okay. And we know that this anointed cherub at one point was Hasatan, or Satan himself. And so we said last week that the Torah, the instructions of the Most High, guys, are eternal. They are everlasting because Satan sinned. And the only way you can sin is against the Torah. That there has to be a standard of righteousness before you can sin. And so that this tells us that the Torah is indeed eternal. All right. And we know that based on various other verses. So watch this. Let's go to Exodus 20 and 17. Exodus. Now, what is Exodus 20 and 17? Well, we know Exodus 20 is the giving of the Torah. And let's go to verse 17. Thou shalt not covet, because we have to say, well, what sin did this anointed cherub, did Hasatan commit? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. Okay, that is thy neighbor's. Now, be careful. this concept, this teaching, these instructions are specifically saying, do not covet your neighbor's possessions or the things your neighbor has. Now, how do we apply this to, how does this apply to Hasatan? Well, it applies because he coveted. Okay. So it doesn't matter what you covet. The point is you should not covet at all. Okay. Now, what did Hasatan covet? If you look at Isaiah 14, if you look at Isaiah 14 and you read from chapters Isaiah 14 all the way through chapter verse 12 all the way down, you'll see the things that Hasatan desired from the Most High. He coveted his position, he coveted his power, he coveted his authority. And this is why Hasatan, this is one of the reasons why he sinned against the Most High, because he coveted. And we talked about that last week. All right. And so this heavenly rebellion before Sinai shows that Torah pre-existed. Okay. And then we looked at all these other sins that he committed as well. Having pride goes against Deuteronomy 8 and 14 of the Torah. Trying to usurp Yahweh's authority goes against Exodus 20 and 3. He not only did he try to usurp his authority, but Hasatan desired to sit in the place of the Most High. He desired to be God. And so, in other words, how did he violate Exodus 20 and 3? Well, Exodus 23 says, you shall not have no other gods before me. I am the one. So when Hasatan rose up and said, I want to take your place, clearly violated. Okay. Corrupting wisdom. All right. If you look at Psalms 111 and Proverbs 8 and 13. And then he defiled holiness, Leviticus 10 and 10, Numbers 19 and 20. You can read these on your own. And we looked at these last week. Let me see if that'll fit. Yep. All right. Now we get into this week's. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7 says that people who deny the Torah, well, we keep the commandments, but you don't keep the feast days. You add your own feast days. You add your own holidays, and you celebrate those as if they are biblical. This is the mystery of lawlessness, y'all. You may say, well, this is just, it's nothing wrong with Christmas. It's nothing wrong with Easter. It's just, but guys, it's not biblical. What you got to realize, you don't have the authority to add to or take away from the Most High's word. And most importantly, his prophecies. Now, some people, guys, some people have, again, this is the spirit of this rebellion, that they see nothing wrong because the word is not in them and the truth is not in them. Because when you go to Revelation, the last chapter in Revelation, and again, we talked about this, and you go down to verse 18. For I testify, if any man hear this word, the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add to the things, God shall add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away. Here's the dangerous part. God himself, the Most High, is going to take away. Guys, this is a fact. Look at this. Let me show you what the grammar says on take away. Okay. It's the future active indicative. This, let's just walk through it. Future means in the future, of course. We know that. Active means that it represents the subject as the doer of the action. That means that the Most High himself is going to be doing the action. He's not going to delegate this to someone else. He himself is going to take away your part out of the book of life. Now watch this. Notice what the indicative says. And what the indicative means, it is a statement of fact, of reality. It is not some imaginative thing. This is something that is going down whether we like it or not. It is a statement of fact. And so when it says that it is in the future, active indicative, what he's saying is the Most High is saying, I am going to personally, in the future, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take away your part out of the book of life if you take away from the Torah. Okay. And guys, this is what this counterfeit religious system has done. This is what the mystery of lawlessness is. It's a counterfeit religious system that takes away from the Torah. Okay. And that presents itself. Not only does it take away, but this counterfeit religion, it presents itself as holy, but secretly, under the surface. And soon it will rot. Well, what do I mean by rot? The acronym ROT. Well, soon it will ruthlessly oppose the Torah. Okay? Awaiting its full revelation of the man of lawlessness. Okay? And so I want you guys to understand this is serious. Now, where is this going to come from? Where are these ideas, this counterfeit religious system going to come from? Is it going to come from Islam? Is it going to come from some new religion? Is it going to come from Buddhism? Is it going to come? Where is this ugly, rotted, ruthless opposition from the Torah going to come from? Well, Yeshua gives us some hints. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Now, a lot of people will attempt to disagree with this, and that's fine, but you got to prove your case. And when you try to prove your case against what the scripture says, you're going to come up short every time. So let's look at some verses. Let's look at least 5 verses. Let's look at verse 5, 11, 15, and then 23. 5, 11, 23 to 26. That's a little more than 5. But we're going to look at verses 5, 11, 15, and 23. So notice what verse 5 says. For many shall come. Now, you got to remember who's speaking here. Yeshua is speaking. Okay? Based on verse 4. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Then verse 5. For many shall come in my name. Okay? So notice where the deception is going to come from. It's not going to come from a religious system that does not promote Yeshua. Although Islam on the surface promotes Yeshua. Okay? Now, see, here's the tricky part about Islam. It's not the same Yeshua that's in the Bible. Trust me. I could prove it. I don't have time today. That's a completely different lesson. Again, they're going to come in my name. They're going to use his name. Okay? It's just like what Paul was saying earlier, that people were writing letters under his name and the other apostles' name. That's an aspect of deception. Okay? So many are going to come in my name saying what? That they are the Messiah. Guys, this is a key to understanding when we are in the last times. Okay? People are going to come using the name of Yeshua, saying that they are the Christ. Okay? That's one. Let's take it up a notch. Let's go to verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Okay? So there are going to be people who are using the name of Yeshua that are deceiving people into believing a message that completely is in rebellion against Torah. They don't want the feast days. They don't want Shabbat. They don't want anything that Torah teaches. Come on and go with me here. Now, what's our next verse? Verse 15. Notice what he says here. When therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the book of Daniel. Here's another key. Listen, what religious system uses the book of Daniel? Does Islam? Maybe. But what religious system, guys? I want you to listen. Listen, spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Stand in the holy place. When you therefore see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Now, where's the holy place? Where's the holy place? Number one, it's in Jerusalem. Come on and go with me here. It's in Jerusalem. Number two, it is in the temple. Aha. Now watch this. This is how you will know when the time is happening, when it's going down. There's no temple in Jerusalem right now, but there are works. I believe that they are working on it. And so once this temple is erected, and once you see this individual come in the name of Yeshua, standing in the holy place, listen carefully. What religion promotes this holy place that uses the name of Jesus? Let's go to verse 23, see if we can find more information. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the Messiah, or there is the Messiah, believe him not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Now, here's another clue, the very elect. In what religion does it speak of the elect? Come on and go with me here. Let me say this. These clues from the words of Yeshua. Let's go into this. These 4 patterns of deception are from Satan. Listen, there are patterns of deception that will help you identify where this deception is going to come from. Come on and go with me here. I don't care about your theory. And see, listen. Unless you use the Bible to determine what you believe and why you believe it, you're going to be off. Period. I don't care about your tradition. I don't care about your beliefs. I don't care about any of that. The only thing that matters in this time and for all time is what does the scripture teach. I don't care if the scripture goes against your family. I don't care if the scripture goes against your beliefs. I don't care if it goes against your denomination. You cannot put any of those things above the scripture, because when you do, you will be susceptible to deception. Here are the 4 patterns that Yeshua gave us in Matthew. Let's check them out one by one. Matthew 24 and verse 5. Deception number 1. For many shall come in my name. My name. I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. This implies, actually, it's not really implying, it's actually directly saying that the deception is not external, but it's going to be an inside job. Come on, go with me here. Those claiming to represent Yeshua will deceive many people. The deception uses the name of Yeshua, not that of another God or another prophet. So they won't be able to say, well, this is Muhammad and I've come as the Messiah. No, nope. So we know it's not going to be Islam. Oh, I'm not ruling Islam out, because Islam does use the name. of Yeshua. Okay? Deception number 2, Matthew 24:11. Many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. False prophets emerge from among the people who believe in the Messiah using the name of Yeshua. Come on and go with me here. Not from an outside religious system. Their role is to mislead while appearing as spiritual authorities. Deceptions 1 and 2. This is deep, y'all. Watch this. Deceptions 3 and 4. Let's get it. Matthew 24:15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place. This is key, the holy place. This figure, this individual, or this religious system, this counterfeit individual or religious system within a context that appears holy to the people, suggesting that it has religious authority and a presence in the world that is able to deceive people who believe in the Messiah. Because this holy place, how could someone deceive us coming from this holy place? This echoes Paul's statement. It's reminiscent of what Paul said, that the man of sin sits in the temple of the Most High, showing himself to be the Most High. That's 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Let me show you. Uh-oh. Well, I can go here. I can show you this one too. Look at verse 4. He that opposeth and exalteth himself against all that is called Elohim, or the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he sitteth in the temple of the Most High, setting himself forth as the Most High. Okay? This is coming from the temple. It is coming from those who believe in Yeshua. And so these 4 deceptions are very powerful because they are pointing, Yeshua is pointing us in a direction for us to be able to recognize the Antichrist and from where this Antichrist is going to emerge. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get this. These connections Yeshua is making to the Tanakh, all of these connections that he mentioned in these 4 deceptions, they're connecting us to one particular text. The name, okay? Come on and go with me. False prophets, the holy place, and the temple. These 4 connections are going back not to the Quran, not to the book of, well, shouldn't say that. But it's not going back to the Quran or any other holy book. These deceptions are connecting to the Tanakh. Now, some people may say, well, could it come out of Judaism? Could the false prophet come out of Judaism? I'm not going to rule it out. However, Judaism, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I would say all of those who practice Judaism, they reject the Messiah today. And listen carefully. Yeah, I believe you can rule out Judaism, and here's why. It's not going to, the man of sin is not going to come from Judaism because all of the deceptions are showing that people who currently believe in the Messiah. Okay. Now, if you go back to Matthew 24 and you drop down to 29, when it says immediately after the tribulation, immediately after all these things are happening, Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Notice what happens in verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. The Judaism believes that when the true Messiah comes, they believe that this is going to be the one to believe in. And they believe that it is his first coming. Okay. Now, this is Yeshua saying this. So he's already came once in order to say this. Matthew is recording Yeshua saying this. Okay. So we can rule out Judaism because all of these deceptions are going to happen to those who already believe in Yeshua. All right. Judaism doesn't believe that Yeshua is the Messiah. They don't know. No. So these connections, let's go back to the connections. In Matthew 24, verse 5, 11, 15, 23 to 26, all of these connections go back to the Tanakh. Now, in one of these verses, in Matthew, let me see if I can show you this. It's in Matthew. And it was in verse 26. Let me go back up. For there shall arise false Christ. That's what it was. I wanted to go to verse 26 because the last deception was verses 23 to 26. So let me just read 23 as well. So this last deception. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here's the Christ, here's the Messiah, or there's the Messiah, believe it not, don't believe it. For there shall arise false Christ, false messiahs, and prophets, and they shall show great signs and great wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before, Yeshua says. Wherefore, listen carefully. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Don't go to the desert. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Guys, this is key right here. This idea, why would Yeshua mention secret chambers? Because this is how he's connecting the Tanakh. The meaning of inner room or secret chamber in the Greek and the Hebrew. In the Greek, when he says secret chamber, that word secret chamber, or I should say secret. Let's look at this. Let's look at it. Let's look at this. Tois, here, let me just show you. Tois tameois. Okay. Tois tameois, very important. Very important. Let's see what tois tameois means. Secret chamber. Tameois, secret chamber. Okay. This secret chamber is mentioned only one time. Yeshua mentions it only one time in the New Testament. This is very interesting because he's pulling From where? Where is he pulling this idea from? Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Now, here's a secret to study. It's not really a secret, but this is what I do. This is what I do. Okay. So I would take this and I would go to, uh-oh. I would go to, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for this keyword here, or this Strong's number, 5009, or this word timaeos, but we're going to look for it in Hebrew. Now, the blessing is this. Where's my link to, oh, here it is. So we could either go to this resource. We can go to this resource, and we can go to, so let's say you didn't have this resource. You know, we could go to this resource. Now we can go to Matthew, and we're going to go to chapter 24. And then we're going to drop down to verse 26. So here it says inner chambers. Okay. Now, if we go to the Hebrew over here, okay, and let's see, all talk to, Bakadarim. Is that what we're looking at? Bakadarim? I believe it is our word here. Okay. So ba is the prefix. The dagish under the resh or the r, the yod, and the final mem are the suffix. So we're left with the root of chadar. Chadar. Let's check. So we go back to Matthew over here. So you can do it that way, or you can do it this way. Go to interlinear. And the interlinear is let's see. Hey, hold on. I want, oh, they don't have this in the, no. So this is what we're going to have to do. Okay. You don't have that. Because what we want to do, this is what we want to do. We want to look for timaeos in the Hebrew. Okay. We want to see this equivalent word timaeos in the Hebrew. Okay. So I believe we found it in our resource here. Hadar. This is ba hadarim. Okay. Let's double check that. Ah. Okay. So you see cheder. But look at the letters. Ha, dar, or heder. Notice this. This is wonderful stuff. Okay. So we find Yeshua connecting this word inner chamber to the Tanakh. One of the places it's used in Ezekiel is in Ezekiel 8 and 12. Okay. Now, what I recommend for the sake of time, I don't have time to go through all the context, but let's just go there because I want you to see Ezekiel 8 and 12. But we're already in Ezekiel there. So let's go to Ezekiel 8, and we're going to verse 12 here. Guys, I want to show you this connection that Yeshua is making. It's powerful because he uses this word because it is the core of deception. Notice what he says here. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? Who are the ancients of the house of Israel? The fathers. Come on and go with me here. The ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers. And let's see if this word is chader. Chambers. Now notice it was chambers. Here's our word here. So you have the ba, which means in or on. And then you have the suffix here, the dogish here. Can't remember what these are called. I can't remember. And then you have the yod at the end, which makes this plural. But in the middle, you have our root, hadar, hadar. Okay? Now, let's double check this. Okay? There we go. In the chambers, ba or ba, ha, derai. Okay? Now let's see what this is. This is important. Because he's saying, have you seen what they do in their secret chambers? What the fathers do in their secret chambers? A chamber, a room, a parlor, innermost or inward part, something within. Okay? Guys, this is key to understanding this deception. Okay? So when he says, let me go back up. In verse 26, when he says in their secret rooms, look, he's there, or the Messiah he is in the secret room. This false Messiah is in this secret room. What this is pointing to is the nature of this false Messiah is going to be in a place that is considered to be is secretive because it is not fully revealed yet. Come on and go with me here. And it is a place of deception. Guys, this is powerful. This is powerful. And then notice this. Notice this. There's another word, a synonym for inner room. Come on and go with me. So it's not just cheder, but notice this. Sater. Sater. No, oh man. This is used in Jeremiah 23 and 24. Let's go there. Sater. Jeremiah 23 and then 24. I'm trying to show you guys that Yeshua is pointing us in a direction to let us know where this Antichrist, son of perdition, this man of lawlessness is going to come from. Jeremiah 23, 24. Now, you can read the entire context. However, can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? Listen, you can try whatever religion this individual is trying to hide in. Now, you can read the context to understand why Jeremiah is saying this. But I want you to say, what I want you to know is this. You can't, no matter what deception people are trying to portray, you can't hide from the truth. Notice what he says here in 25. I have heard what the prophets said. That prophesy lies in what? In my name. Saying, I have dreamed and I have dreamed. When it's a lie, how long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of deceit, though, of their own heart. See, you know why many false prophets say, this is just on my heart because they're not in the Bible. Come on and go with me here. See, there's a problem when you're always appealing to your heart, which is deceitful and wicked above anything. But there's a problem when you're always appealing to your heart, what's in your heart, and not what's in the word. Come on and go with me here. So we have a synonym to heder, which is sater. But here's another synonym I found. Hanuyot. Hanuyot. Notice this, what hanuyot is. Hanuyot suggests that there is a suppressing of the truth. Suppressing truth in secret compartments. That is what Hanuyot is suggesting. Let's go back to Jeremiah 37. 37, though. Let's go back to Jeremiah 37 and 16. Man, this suppressing truth in secret compartments, secret places, when Yeshua used this idea, I want you to see this. Let's start in verse 14. Then said Jeremiah, it is false. I fall not away to the Chaldeans. But he hearkened not to him. So Erijah took Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. Wherefore the princes were wroth, or angry with Jeremiah, and smote him. They hit him, beat him, and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan, the scribe. For they had made that the prison. When Jeremiah was entered into the dungeon and into the cabins, Jeremiah had remained there many days. So notice this. They put him in the dungeon and in the cabins. So let's look for our Hebrew word, hanuyot. Hanuyot. let's look for hanuyot, y'all. Let's look at it. Look. Uh-oh, we getting close. They, L, that means two. L here means two. And two, Hanuyot. So this extra ha here, some people may be saying, well, that's not Hanuyot. Yes, it is. This extra ha is the definite article, the. It's a definite article, the. So it's two. L is, okay, so let's go through this. They, or wa, is and two. That's two. And then the dungeon or secret place. Notice who put Jeremiah. I want you to see this because this one right here is powerful. This one right here. This one right here is powerful. The cabins. Notice this. A cell or a vaulted room. Implication: a prison, cabin, a vault, somewhere hidden away. But let me go back, because do they use, because I saw arrows, because I want to see, are there any other words? Uh, okay. So notice these three words. Well, first of all, let's deal with this, what they did to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, who was speaking the truth, because this is why. Notice what he says here in verse 14. Then Jeremiah said, "It is false. I fall not away to the Chaldeans." So someone was speaking lies against Jeremiah, saying that his words that he was speaking were false, or that his words that he was speaking were representing a completely different understanding, that he was not speaking Torah. Okay? Yeah, this will be interesting to read, and find out. Well, let's just read it. And it came to pass that when the army of the Chaldeans was broken up from Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, Egypt's army, then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to separate himself thence in the midst of the people. And when he was in the gate of Benjamin, a captain of the ward was there, whose name was Arijah, the son of Shelemiah, and the son of Hananiah. And he took Jeremiah the prophet, saying, "Thou fallest away to the Chaldeans." Then Jeremiah said, "It is false. I fall not away to the Chaldeans." But he hearkened not to him. He didn't listen. So he took him and he put him in this secret place, this cabin, this place. What was happening here? I picked this one because I want you to see this picture of what's happening. They took the individual who was speaking truth from the Most High, and they tried to hide him away. Go on. Go watch this. Watch this, y'all. This right here. What is needed in order to deceive? What is needed in order to deceive? I want to ask that question. What do you need to deceive people? Can you just tell a lie? Will that deceive people? No. What do you need? You need the truth and the lie. I remember someone told me this. The way that Satan deceives people is he takes the skin of the truth and then stuffs it with a lie. Come on and go with me here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 10 to see if that is the case. 2 Corinthians. See, this is a teaching. 2 Corinthians 11. This is not just a sermon. Listen, I'm trying to teach you not only what the word is saying, but I'm trying to teach you how to mine the word, how to study it. 2 Corinthians 11, and we're going to go 10 through 15. As the truth of the Messiah is in me, Paul says, no man shall stop me of this boasting in regions of Achaia. Wherefore? Because I love you not? No. Paul says, is it because I don't love you that I'm doing all this, that I'm continuing to speak this truth? It's because he loves you. See, people misunderstand that because truth is offensive and it's difficult to handle, they think that people who speak this truth in a way, they think that they don't love them. But Paul says, I'm not going to stop. No man shall stop me of this. No one is going to stop me either. No one. Verse 12. But what I do, that will I do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion and opportunity, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles. See, Paul is saying, listen, because these false apostles are not going to stop lying, I'm not going to stop telling the truth. Come on. Why don't you go tell these false prophets to shut up? How about that? But you know what? Oftentimes, people who are deceived, they want the person that's speaking the truth to be quiet, just like they did with Jeremiah. They want the person that's speaking the truth to be quiet, and they don't care about the people who are lying. Why don't you take that over there to them and tell them to shut up? Come on and go with me here. Instead of telling me to be quiet from speaking the truth, why don't you go tell them to stop telling lies? See how that works? He says, for such are false prophets, deceitful workers, transforming themselves. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Into the apostles of the Messiah. Come on and go with me. Let's keep going. And no marvel, no wonder. For Satan himself transformed into what? An angel of light. What do you need to deceive? You need the skin of the truth stuffed with a lie. Notice this. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers, you got people who are in ministry for Satan. Oh yeah, you in ministry. You're just on the wrong side. It's no great thing that if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Now, let me say this. Where are the scriptures pointing us to show where this man of sin, this antichrist, this son of lawlessness is going to emerge from? Verse 16, I say again, let no man think me a fool, if otherwise, yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. Look, Paul is saying, hey, wait a minute. All of these deceptive connections that Yeshua is pointing us to in Matthew, pointing us back to the Tanakh, which gives us it opens our understanding of where the deception is going to come from. Come on and go with me here. Let's get it, because I want you to find out before we leave today. This figure, this individual or religious system operates within a context that appears to be holy and righteous, speaking the truth to people, suggesting it has religious authority and presence, and no longer, I should say, but no longer, sorry, instead of and. And then I need my comma. Sorry, it's the English teacher in me. Sorry. But no longer adheres to the truth of Yeshua's teachings that are rooted in Torah. In other words, this figure or religious system is going to go against the teachings of Yeshua. And the teachings of Yeshua are not only based on the Torah, he taught Torah. Come on and go with me here. Let's get this. So you have a choice. You got a choice. We all have a choice. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can go this direction, or you can go that direction. And that's exactly what this chart shows us. You can go in the way of lawlessness, or you can go in the way of obedience to the Torah. Now, remember, lawlessness does not mean sin. It is an utterly, outright rejection and rebellion against Torah. What do I mean? Well, it's rejecting Shabbat. You're going to have millions of people tomorrow that are going to be celebrating Shabbat. I'm sorry, that are going to be rejecting Shabbat. Sorry. We're celebrating Shabbat today. You got millions of people who are going to go in this lawless direction. Again, it's lawlessness because they're rejecting Torah. The Torah does not teach that you can worship on any day of the week. Sorry. The Torah does not teach that you could observe Shabbat on any day of the week. Yes, you can worship any day of the week. You can worship Monday through Friday. You can worship in your home. You don't have to go to the temple. You don't have to go to the church. You can worship in your home, your car, and in the park, wherever you decide you can worship. You can give praise to the Most High. Honoring and keeping Shabbat is not simply worship. It includes worship, but it's not simply worship. Honoring and keeping Shabbat, you can only do it in the rhythm of the Most High. That is one day of the week. You can go, and then here's another thing. Lawlessness is not just rejecting Shabbat, but it's also rejecting feast days. Well, they've been fulfilled by Yeshua. Listen, that's not what Paul practiced. That's not what John, Peter, and all the other apostles practiced. Okay? And I'm specifically going to focus on John. So, where does this lead us, though? Where does lawlessness lead? This mystery of iniquity, where does it lead us? Torah-lessness, a Torah-less spirit. I messed up on my S. Should have another S there. It's all good. Where does it lead us? So let's follow that trail. Okay? Let's follow it. Oh my God. Where does it lead us? Bam. Now, let me say this. Believing in Yeshua is different from Christianity. Oh man, what do I mean by that? You can believe in Yeshua and not practice Christianity. Come on, go with me. You can believe in Yeshua and be within Christianity. Yeshua is beyond Christianity. Come on, go with me here. Well, what do you mean, Pastor? Well, what do you mean that Yeshua is beyond? There was no such thing as Christianity when Yeshua was walking the earth. Christianity was created by Gentile church fathers. Oh, I got proof. I got receipts. You don't want this smoke. I got receipts. I've been sharing these receipts for over 2 months. And eventually I'm going to put them in a collection, an organized collection, and explain each one with proof and evidence. Because it's very clear that the way that Satan deceives is he takes part of the truth and then stuffs it with a lie. So just like Yeshua said in Matthew 7:21 through 23, many are going to come in my name saying, Lord, didn't we do all these things in your name? Didn't we heal the sick? Didn't we, cast demons out? Didn't we do all these good works in your name? He's going to say, depart from me. I never knew you. Why is he going to say that? Because he doesn't like you? No. Why is he going to say that? Because you messed up and sinned? No. Mm-mm. He says, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. You who have created Christianity by rejecting Torah. You are a worker of iniquity. Again, that word iniquity, anomia, a rejection and rebellion against Torah. Justin Martyr, Ignatius, and Irenaeus, to name a few. I have an entire list. And soon, I'm going to go down the list in a series and show you exactly how these Gentile church fathers. Now, how did these Gentile church fathers get in charge in the first place? Well, there were a couple of events that happened. Number one, you have the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. Come on, go with me here. Where many of the Israelite leaders were kicked out of Jerusalem and went to Pella. Come on and go with me. Then you had something in 132, somewhere around 132 AD. The Bar Kokhba revolt, where many Israelites revolted against the Roman Empire and died. Many of the leaders died. And so you have this dwindling of Israelite leaders who held to the teachings of Yeshua and the teachings of the apostles. And what emerged from this absence of Israelite leadership was Gentile leadership. I got receipts. And gradually, these Gentile leaders began to move away from Torah, rejecting and rebelling against Yah's divine instructions. Oh, man. And rebellion and rejection against Yah's divine instructions, or Torah, equals lawlessness. But how did it start? How did it start, though? How did it start? Oh, man, I got so much. I'm going to close with this. We're going to pick up right here next week, but I'm going to close with this. How did it start? Well, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 30, verse 9 and 10. Isaiah gives us an idea of how it started. Isaiah 30, and we're going to look at verse 9 and 10. Bear with me, guys. I'm almost done. We got to see how this thing started. Isaiah 30. Come, you don't want to go. Come, you don't want to go on. See this? Okay, Isaiah 30. Now let's go to verse 9. Now, you can read the entire chapter. But let's go to verse 9. Now, you can read verses 1 through 8 for context, but notice in verse 9 that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the what? The law of the Lord, the Torah. Ha-Torah. Here we go down here. Shmot, Shmoa, Torah, Yud, He, Vav, He. But look at it. I like this entire statement, though. See that entire statement? Okay. Lo, Avu, Shmoa, Torah, Yud, He, Vav, He. Will not, this lo is not, will not Shmoa hear and obey Torah. Of who? Of who? Of Israel? Of Jews. Is the Jews' Torah? No. It's the Most High's Torah. Come on, go with me here. Listen. Most of the Gentile church fathers said out of their mouths that the Torah was of the Jews. But that's not what the scriptures teach. They says of the Lord. Torah, Yude Vave. Oh, let's go to verse 10. But notice this, though. Lying children. We're going to come back to this theme. Lying children. Children that will not hear. So a lying child is defined in verse 9. A lying child is a child that does not want to hear Torah. And this is what they say. Would say to the seers, see not. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. That's what the children of liars or lying children desire. Now, where did it come from? Because this word lying children, this phrase lying children, oh man. Hashim banim. Listen, Isaiah 30, 9 and 10. A rebellious attitude towards Yah's Torah is what was revealed. A deliberate rejection of Yah's truth. An attempt to silence those who bring Yah's message of truth. And a preference for what is comfortable over what is true and right. These lying children. Chechashim banim. Okay? Now, who is the father of lies? Well, Yeshua said in John 8 and 44, when he was speaking to the Pharisees, John, and this is why I talked about John, you guys. John, what we're starting right now is Johannine theology. Or I shouldn't say theology. Johannine doctrine. How about that? So let's go to Johannine. Let's see some Johannine doctrine. Let's see. Why would Yeshua? Well, let's go to verse 42. Jesus said unto them, speaking of the scribes and Pharisees, if God were your father, you would love me, Yeshua said. For I proceeded forth and came from him. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech, my words? If God is your father, why don't you understand me? Even because you cannot hear and obey my words. This word here, akuo, in the Hebrew, it's very similar to the word shema or shmoa. He says, you don't hear and obey my words. That's what he says, my words. We're going to come back to that. You are, listen, you are of your father, the devil. Hasatan. And the lust of your father you will do. And what was his lust? To rebel against Torah. That was his lust. That was his desire. He was a murderer from the beginning. Notice he says this, thou shalt not kill. He was a murderer from the beginning. And abode not in the truth. He loved to bear false witness. Going to go with it. All Torah. What Yeshua is showing and what John is recording is that the father of lies completely rebels and rejects Torah. Come on and go with me. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the what? The progenitor, the father of it. I love this word, father of it. Why would Yeshua use pater? Why would he use father of it? The father. Guys, this is man, this is poetry that John is recording Yeshua's words. The pater. Why would he use father? Notice this. He is the progenitor, the generator. Okay? The corporal nature, father, profane. Let's see. Progenitor. Okay, he's the forefather of it. Oh, notice this, used metaphorically, the originator. Come on, the transmitter. Oh gosh. Come on and go with me here. Oh, hmm. Who actuates and governs. Look, one who has infused his spirit, his own spirit, in others, who actuates and governs their minds. Goodness. So, guys, let me say this. We talked about where this originated. We got to go back. These church fathers, these Gentile church fathers, by the way, when it came to the teachings of Yeshua in regards to Torah, these Gentile church fathers, they lied. Come on, go with me. They were counterfeits. How do you detect counterfeits and lies? Well, Johannine doctrine tells us, man, this is deep. We're going to pick up right here next week. We're going to pick up right here because here's one of the, let me give you one of the lies. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one. There are people, and the lie again is with the enemy. And I'm just going to go through a few scriptures. But I want to go to 3 scriptures. I'm just going to go to 3. I'm going to go to 3 scriptures, y'all. I'm going to go to John 14 and 15. And we're going to pick up right here next week. But go with me. Go with me to these scriptures real quick. Go to John chapter 14. If my mouse be. John, I'm going to show you how the deceiver deceives. Let's go to John 14 and 15. Where Yeshua said, if you love me, keep, notice that this is the lie, my commandments. And I'm going to pick up right here next week. Yeshua says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Here's the lie. Here's how Satan twists this. Well, see, these are Yeshua's commandments. Yeshua has different commandments than the Father. But let me show you how that's a lie by going back to 2 verses. So we start at John 14, 15. Let's go to, oh, I should have went to 21 also. Sorry, John 14 and 21. I should have went to 14 and 21. Or 15 and 21, sorry. So we have 15. Oh, can't get it on the page too. If you love me, keep my commandments at the very top. And then verse 21. He that hath my commandments. So notice it keeps saying this personal pronoun, my. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me, and that loveth me shall be loved. He that loveth me shall be loved by the Father. And I will love him and will manifest myself in him. So notice the personal pronoun in front of commandments, my commandments, seemingly suggesting that Yeshua has different commandments than the Father. But the devil is a lie and the father of it, because John 12, 49 and 50 says something completely different. Johannine doctrine. For I have not spoken of myself, Yeshua says, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment. And here's the commandment he gave Yeshua: what I should say and what I should speak. Well, what was that commandment? The command was speak what I tell you to speak. Say what I tell you to say. Verse 50. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Yeshua didn't have his own commandments. Oh, you're not convinced? Let's go to John 7. Here, let me go here. And 16. I mean, why not? Since we're proving. John 7 and 16. Or let's go to verse 14. Now, about the midst of the feast, Yeshua went up into the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? In other words, what they mean is, you've never gone to any rabbinic school. Out of the 33 years, we've known you since you were a child. We've never seen you in one of our schools. Jesus answered and said unto them, notice this, my doctrine, the words that I speak, my commandments, my doctrine, it's not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine or the teachings, whether it be of the Most High or whether I speak of myself. What commandments are Yeshua speaking that are different from the Father? What are the commandments? What are they? Well, let's give you this warning. Let me give you this warning, because if Yeshua is a prophet, and he's not just a prophet, he's the Most High. But in Deuteronomy 18, notice this. We know Yeshua is not speaking anything different from the Father. Notice verse 18. Moses writes this as a prophecy within the history and the Torah. There's prophecy in Torah? Absolutely. I will raise up them. This is the Most High speaking. I will raise up them, of the prophet among their brethren, like unto thee, Moses. And I will put, I will put my words in his mouth. Come on. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. You see that? So what is this business? Now here's the business. Let me give you the business further. Now, for those of you who say, well, there are certain laws for, Gentiles and certain laws for Israelites. Guys, that's not biblical. How do I know that? Well, Exodus chapter 12. I love the word, guys. And I love it because it's speaking the truth. One law, Torah, commandment, shall be to them that are homeborn. That means Israelites. And that same one law is unto the stranger that sojourneth among us. In other words, brother, it don't matter if you're a Gentile. You're under the same law that Yeshua spoke, that the Father gave Yeshua to speak. So we got to understand something. We have to understand that, listen, instead of me saying it, I'm just going to let the scripture speak. We got to understand, oh man, I'm feeling good right now. We got to understand this. Ezekiel 36 and 27, the prophecy. I love this prophecy. The Most High says this: I will put my spirit within you. It's going to cause you to walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. It's going to cause you to walk in Torah. So Christianity, who teaches you don't have to follow Torah, not only do they go against Johannine doctrine and are counterfeits, but Christianity goes against the doctrine of Yeshua, who taught and lived Torah, Shabbat, feast days, clean eating. Come on, go with me here. And guess what? The church fathers ushered in this rebellion against the Torah, which Paul says in 2 Thessalonians 2:7, that this mystery of lawlessness is already at work, but guess what? It's going to get worse. And listen, let me say this. Johannine doctrine, John in the book of Revelation said, if you add to or take away, if you start snatching out commandments, well, we don't have to celebrate Shabbat. We can worship on Sunday. Well, we don't have to do the feast days. We can create Easter and create Christmas and create Mother's Day. Come on, go with me here. We can create our own holidays. We don't have to follow the Moedim. Johannine doctrine says, if you do that, the Most High himself is going to take your name out of the book of life and out of the holy city. You want to deal with that? You want to get to the pearly gates and hear Yeshua say, depart from me? I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. You want that? Come back. Come back to the Torah. What will a man give in exchange for his own soul? What will you listen? You gonna hold on to your pride? You gonna hold on to your salary? You gonna exchange your salary for your soul? Come on. Come back, Pastor. Listen, you may be embarrassed, but I would rather be embarrassed and be in the book of life than save face and lose my soul. Blessings and shalom.